How's it going, Rox?
Very good.
Hello, Rox.
Hello.
Rox, I found a girl who I think is related to you.
Really?
Yes. Are you familiar with the
Are we all related to Rox in some way or another?
Well, we're all at least 32nd cousins of each other, but barring that, are you, Rox, are you aware of the online shenanigans of Katie Ryan and her daughter Ava?
No.
Ava's like 6, and she was apparently rose to superstardom on Vine because at the age of like 3 and 4, she would just say the craziest shit, whatever was on her mind. And I was there, after watching a few of these, I was like, I bet she's related to Rox.
What? What is this? I'm writing this down.
Her name is it's AVA Ryan, RYAN, Ava Ryan.
All right.
She's 6. If you watch some of her short videos where she explains the world,
is she that little Scotland girl?
I don't think so.
No, there's one that's really cute too. She too does that. You know, about the Easter Bunny, and if Jesus and the Easter Bunny are friends. I love that one.
Fight crime together. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Tuffley was just saying absolutely nothing has happened. So
nothing of import. No.
He doesn't know what in the hell we're going to talk about. I
really?
agree. I just don't know what could have happened.
And R. Kelly's been behaving himself, so it's fine. Everything's okay.
I don't know about the R. Kelly thing. What has he done now?
Well, apparently, allegedly, because like he's listening to us and he's going to sue like a year later after this airs.
He listens. He listens. I know he listens.
But allegedly, he has 2 houses in Chicago where he keeps women.
Keeps women,
yeah. Videos, that sort of thing.
Okay, so but like keeps them, they don't want to be there, keeps them? Or keeps them as in...
I believe the word cult...
Because they're a different type... Oh.
I believe the word cult has been used, and I believe the word videotaping encounters has been used.
That doesn't sound like a cult. That sounds like a reality television program. Are we sure that he hasn't signed a deal with somebody?
If it's R. Kelly's dating show, really, I would recommend not auditioning for that.
No, I wasn't going to say anything about either even watching it, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. So yeah, R. Kelly's been active.
So there's a
disgustingly
R. Kelly
active.
Is unequivocally denies keeping young women in abusive cults.
The cults aren't abusive. They're just cults.
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
So there's 2 houses. There's one in Atlanta and there's one in Chicago.
2 houses.
Does he franchise these out?
Well, it's sort of like
one of them the Baratheons.
Montague and Capulet.
I've got some bad news for them.
Not the one Arya wiped out. So spoiler.
That's okay. By the time they hear this, it'll be.
By the time they hear this, the books
20.
will be out, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, no, Arya is not in the R. Kelly house.
Well, thank fuck for that.
We figured that one out.
Ooh, I like this. So in The Guardian.
Okay, can I just say how frightening it is that Rox led with, ooh, I like this?
Well,
I know. Okay, yes. However, the investigation published by BuzzFeed News alleged that the 50-year-old singer exercised Svengali-like influence. You don't see that. You do not see anybody referencing Svengali, which this was a character in a play called Trilby. You know, you don't see that. You don't see that in popular writing anymore.
Well, not since Phil Spector got put in jail, but go ahead.
True. Yeah. So, anyway, yeah.
I hide the women in my hair.
He doesn't have any.
Oh, they got rid of his hair?
He doesn't have any hair.
He did have hair.
But
where?
Time?
Down there?
At the trial.
Oh, well.
Oh. You do not dare.
Oh, somebody also called him a puppet master. I don't listen to his work. So am I missing something? Am I missing anything?
Lots.
Am I really?
I'm talking about it probably was a wig, but I'm talking about his hair
shaft?
His hair care bunch or whatever it was.
Oh, you're talking about Spectre. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait.
I was talking about R. Kelly.
That's why.
He was having a different conversation than you and I were, Widge.
Yeah.
No, he talked about Phil Spector. Oh wait, no, that's right. You and I were having a conversation.
I was jumping.
Who's having a conversation with who?
I was jumping back and forth between conversations. I know. You really haven't done this in a while, have you?
I haven't done a lot in a while.
This is his like marathon training for DragonCon.
Well,
he's got to work his way up to it.
Start walking, people. Start walking.
Level 1.
So okay, all right. So really quick though, since we said DragonCon, we just recorded 50 days of DragonCon, and I recommended. This is a recommendation for people.
In fact, I'm going to look for it right now.
Bed Bath & Beyond has one for $26. It is the Drive Medical Folding Lightweight.
I'm going to go to coffee.com/Amazon.
That's fine. However, I made a recommendation because, we are all getting older and stuff, and not everyone can ride around on a really cool little folding bike like me, is investing in a folding lightweight cane seat. If you're one of those people that like hanging out in front of the Hilton or the Hyatt waiting to get in to see a giant panel. So, there you go.
Which is not a panel on Giants, by the way. I was sadly disappointed when I learned that.
It could be.
Well, it could be a Land of the Giants panel. I mean, maybe.
Okay, that would be pretty cool.
Or you talk about the Giants from, Game of Thrones. So, there's that.
New York Giants.
San Francisco Giants.
So if you go to neatcoffee.com/Amazon,
the Green Giant.
There's a folding lightweight adjustable height cane seat there for $20.
All right, there you go. Yes,
free 1-day shipping.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm done. I'm gone. Bye.
See, nothing happened. That's all.
That's it. That's her ride. Take it to the streets.
That's it. Cue the clutch. We're out of here.
Taking it to the street.
Nothing happened in the internet world.
Nothing happened in the internet world. The internet was just calm and friendly, and everyone likes each other, and it's kumbaya and all that shit.
I've been answering questions. So I found Quora.com. Quora. Do you guys know about this?
Oh yes. Are you going to be one of the few people who are actually effective on there?
Yes, because I resurrected my Help Me Rocks type thing. So yes, you can find me as I, enlighten people on the questions that they need answers for. I have a research firm. Of course I'm going to be on Quora.
I'm just saying, no, I'm not surprised. It's just that so often Quora sometimes is kind of like
it's an advice column.
Somebody gave Yahoo Answers a shower and a shave.
Yeah, but the thing is if you're looking for like hardcore science, that you can find them. It depends on what your feed is and what you plug in of what your interests are. I do enjoy the hypothetical questions because, like today. Let me see if I can find this because this is funny. This guy wanted to travel back in time and carve an Egyptian tomb an astronaut. And everyone's writing real quick. Everyone's writing, no, time travel's not possible. It's like, okay, I'm skipping over all of that. Okay, we're going to say you can, but you're going to fail because you don't know art.
Well, if you play as the Flash in Injustice 2,
well,
that is actually a cutscene in Injustice 2 with the Flash. One of his powers is time travel.
So
to an Egyptian.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm bypassing the whole time travel is not plausible. Let's say you make it. My question to you, do you know how to carve? Do you have the skills to use a chisel and hammer? Do you have any art skills? You're carving, crudely drawn, even though by looking at Egyptian art by our modern eyes may not look sophisticated to you. I can assure you it took artisans many years to perfect this style. It is their art, it is their language. You will need to know the types of carvings you need to perfect, bas-relief or relief carving. The areas around pyramids and tombs and buildings were well-organized work areas. Workers there would know you do not belong. Would you be willing to shave your head and wear a wig? You'll have to research how Egyptians looked at that time. If you're able to get near a wall to carve, you'll have to disguise your style of your work to fit in. The process of carving takes a long time. If it was noticed, by the way, the picture needs to tell a story. Images in tombs and walls are highly stylized language. The foreman, they had them back then, would order the work covered over or destroyed. Below is an article by carver Alistair Park, who has been carving for 20 years. As far as your question, what would the present say if they saw an astronaut on the wall? Look up ancient astronauts. There have been plenty of speculation among the ufologists who claim that there is an Aztec stylized image of an astronaut on a wall. There you go. I got 30 views on that one. Thank you. No upvotes, but you know.
That's pretty great.
It is, you know. So
was the rest of the question something about carving going into an Egyptian tomb and carving something in the bathroom? Is that what?
Yeah, something like that. This is what he, I
see the lack of gift shops. I find the lack of gift shops in Egyptian tombs disturbing.
Do you know what? I actually asked something like that of I took up Egyptian history in college, believe it or not. And I asked this of my professor. I said, did they ever see like the pyramids as a tourist attraction? And there was like dead silence. And he's like, well,
they did have a fast pass program.
Well, basically he said kind of without saying it, but it was, it was funny. I'm like, you have this big thing. Surely, people are selling food and stuff at the base.
What you were really trying to get at, Rox, was that you wanted ancient Egyptian tchotchkes.
Yes.
Like a snow globe. You wanted a snow globe.
Oh my God, yeah. A sand globe.
Would that be a sand globe?
A sand globe.
Well, that would be even weirder if it was a snow globe. It'd be like, but I don't understand. Why is it a snow globe in the desert?
Oh my gosh, I need to amend my thing.
You do.
Forget that. Forget astronauts, snow globes.
Tourist opportunities. Time sharing.
Put a snow globe in the tomb of Tutankhamun. That's what you should do. Forget that.
Snow globes and time sharing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what if you don't want to be dead, but only half the year?
Or maps of the tombs, like maps of the stars. You want to see the tombs? It'd be a longer trip, but
ultimately, it would be worth it.
Yes. So, yeah, I'm spreading all of my, insight and knowledge upon the world of Korra. But there are some good questions. I did a geology or landmass on what Florida coastline is and stuff like that. So, but there are like life lessons and whatnot people ask for. So it's kind of quasi like. Now, here's the cool thing is they will flag a question that somebody somewhere, either they run it through a filter to see if it's similar to what somebody else wrote, so they won't, so that won't get posted. So far, none of my questions have, been flagged or anything. So my numbers are pretty good on it. So if you need help, just, send me a question on Quora. Help me rocks.
If you need help and if you can find her, maybe you can hire.
Right. Yes. There's that too.
Oh, hit the music.
So
where shall we begin?
Should we start with?
I know where to begin.
Where?
Begin. Shall we begin?
I was going to say I don't think we've talked about even the Black Panther trailer, have we?
Oh,
which one?
No.
Two of them.
What do you mean? Which?
I didn't see that.
What's the second one?
What?
I believe there have been two of them. Or maybe it's a longer version of the first one.
I'm gonna look this up.
Well, the one with the Run the Jewels in the background.
Yeah. Okay.
You're cutting out a bit, Tuffley. You still there?
Am I?
I think we were all just silent. That's the thing.
Am I still here? I don't know.
Nobody was saying anything.
All right. So while we're like doing nothing, so I do have to say this.
So you mean for the next 3 hours?
Because my boyfriend made dinner and he thinks she's really funny, and I got to bring this up. So we've been watching a lot of Maria Bamford.
Oh yes.
She's funny. Great. She is great. So yeah, I'm being supportive. So I mentioned her.
You were pausing there.
I know. No.
Reflective pausing.
I don't watch a lot of like stand-up people. It's like, okay, I could watch 20 minutes. I'm good. But she is funny. She makes those short videos, and I like it. I like when she does her mom. But she only made like 9 of those.
Oh, yeah. And
oh, my God, there's a new Wrinkle in Time. Holy crap.
That actually looks good.
Well, I know. I'm just saying holy crap.
I think so.
Holy crap. Wow.
Yeah. And I'm also pleased because Oprah's in it, and she's amazing.
Oprah!
Yeah. And she is a great actress.
She is, yes.
Yes. Yeah, I'm only finding the one Black Panther.
Okay, Tuffley. So it may have been something else. I don't know.
But regardless, it looks fucking amazing. And I really need to see it. The cast looks incredible.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I don't know what to say. I'm so jazzed about that. And when I went to see Spider-Man on IMAX 3D, they had the trailer in IMAX 3D, which was nifty.
Ooh.
So
what did you make?
I still need to go back and watch. What's that?
There's 2 trailers.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask you what you made.
Where's the second trailer?
One says HD.
Oh.
There's a 4K one.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
One's a minute and
Brian
53, and one's 2 minutes.
Depending on where they're from, they may have junk at the beginning or ending of it. So, Tuffley, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to ask you what you thought of Homecoming.
I really enjoyed it.
Oh, that was so
a lot of fun.
Fun. It was a fun movie.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
It was fun, and
I really liked Michael Keaton. He was awesome.
He was great.
Yeah,
he was great. Like I said earlier today, you got to see him go from Mr. Mom to Pacific Heights in like 15 seconds.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was great.
Oh, the car scene is fucking brilliant. Oh
no, it's amazing. It is really amazing. And I tell you what else I really liked about. What, John?
I was going to say, and the nice thing about that car scene is that it wasn't a dumb villain.
No.
Obviously, it was putting 2 and 2 together really quickly.
Yeah.
And it was a very complicated villain because everyone was like, "Oh, he's a total psychopath," but I don't know that he was.
No.
Because all he wanted to do was protect his family, and he actually, and Rox,
he accidentally killed the first guy.
Actually,
but Rox
didn't even do it.
I was just gonna say, Rox, he has a sense of honor, which I'm sure you appreciated.
Does. And I'll tell you,
He
bet
felt
anything. No, all right. I signed it in with him early on because I have done procurements for a city, okay? And I'll bet anything he came in at the lowest freaking bid, okay? And I think in the second film you'll find that Cagney woman, she's on the take. All right, because for another agency to come in, and this guy probably had the legitimate procurement and all that paperwork, and they just come waltzing in. No, that is not how it works. That is not. And as a now Florida Supreme Court certified mediator, it's one of those things. No, I sided in with him. I'm sure it was a dicey, sketchy thing, but no, sense. He came in low bid. He came low bid, and he probably had a contract with the city, and them reneging on it. No, he could have sued.
Well, but part of his problem was, as I took it, was that those were the feds, and they had basically just overridden everything like the feds do, Well, now, you're right. He could have sued, but
the thing is even with the feds don't clean shit up. The feds hire like Halliburton. They don't. They don't do that shit.
Tony Stark's company,
Damage Control. Yeah,
which, by the way,
I just looked her up because I wasn't sure who the character was, and she's playing the owner of Damage Control.
Yeah, so I was going to say, is Ryan really going to be in the Damage Control show then?
So, no, that's any city, because even though it's their building and everything like that, it's half of the building fell on property of New York City. No, there was a whole logistic problem on that.
See, Rox, you should have been there. Why didn't they call you?
I don't know.
See, if you had only mediated that, none of Homecoming would ever have happened.
Yes. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Oh, wow.
Well, most of Homecoming wouldn't have happened.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Roxanne Henkel, avocado at law.
I can only mediate at the moment to like a $5,000. So that's I couldn't. I'd have to get another certification. So
hey, Rob's here.
Hey, Rob. Oh, Rob.
Rob.
Hey.
No,
Rob is here.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, real quick, while Rob is here, since Rob doesn't have long, he wanted to talk about something else that, Rob, we were talking about how nothing's happened since we were last here, but you wanted to talk something about Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Something about Doctor Who?
What happened on Doctor Who?
Is that even still on? Yeah.
Is that a show? Is that a TV show that people do?
Yes. It's that one show where that one thing happens.
Oh, just that one thing. That's
just
good.
That one thing. Okay. Well, I'm not good at keeping up with multiple things.
Yeah. And it gets changed again, and then another guy comes and they change it again. Yeah.
Is this the thing? Is this the thing where the guy who won Wimbledon was named the Doctor?
It's like Groundhog Day.
Then some douche gets upset about something. Is that what happens to you?
Wait, Roger Federer is the next Doctor. That's what we know. Okay, right? Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Stephen Moffat presents Wimbledon.
I loved JJ's response on Facebook to everyone bitching and complaining. Did you guys see that?
Yes,
I did.
Yes.
I did not. But
I left that alone too, because I'm like, no. Gonna let you take that one, JJ.
Obviously, he was being sarcastic.
No, that's true. Well, see, I'm the one who said if it's not Grace Jones, we riot. That's
So, Rob, what happened?
They cast abroad.
They cast abroad. Oh my God.
No, I'm kidding. They have cast the.
Well, good. Thank you, Internet.
I'm glad to know that's still a guy then. Whew.
Broadbent. He meant broadbent.
If you're really bored, and you really want to feel better about yourself, just read all of the social media that people are posting about the new Doctor being a woman. And you'll feel so much better knowing, as WEJ said, it's good to have all these people out in the open. So,
well, we should say more specifically, it's Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised that our president hasn't tweeted about it.
From Sigmund and the Sea
He
Monsters.
doesn't understand it, so.
Yeah. I had to explain to somebody that it wasn't the kid from Sigmund and the Sea Monsters.
No, you should have totally said, yes, it's the kid from Sigmund and the Sea Monsters.
I didn't have time for that. There's just sometimes you have to stop.
But no, it gives people, fine, go watch Broadchurch and Attack the Block. Go do that. Go do that now.
Yes.
I've been trying to get people to watch Attack the Block because of Boyega.
I love, we watched that at Christmas time a couple of years ago. It was great.
It's a great totally Christmas film.
It is.
I watch it after Die Hard every Christmas.
I watched Lion in Winter, but
And it's really funny because Boyega is one of the first people that said, "Hey, I'll come on the show if you want me." So, it's like, oh, let's raise the ante. So yeah, I mean, a lot of us pretty much knew it was going to be a woman because, like, most of the rumors that were coming out of casting were women. So, I mean, if you were keeping track of it, there were more women being sort of mentioned than men, and they sort of were like really hinting at it in the show.
I was thinking it was going to be somebody from Broadchurch. My first thought was Olivia Colman, but I thought, damn, she's in everything else, so it can't be her.
Well, they also are looking for, remember, they want ratings.
Yeah, they want younger Doctor. We knew if it wasn't, we knew it was going to. We knew they were going to go younger. That was pretty much. That was pretty much the first guess. Before you get to gender, it was going to be younger.
Yeah, so they wanted younger, sort of Tennant Davison kind of thing, and I think we're going to get sort of a throwback to the Peter Davison or David Tennant sort of feel. Yeah. Although I don't know, it's going to be almost unrecognizable from what I hear in a year. So it's not going to be,
which is good.
Well, it's going to be more like a thriller show than it is a science fiction show, apparently. We may not have title credits, like stories.
Good.
Yeah. The TARDIS set's getting redone, which it does every year, but now it's a kitchen. I'm kidding.
Holy
kidding.
Shit.
It's all gone a bit Corey, hasn't it?
No, I think it's good. I think it's going to be awesome. It's good to shake up the.
It's good Kim's not on here. She would stab you through the phone.
But Kim would also know that I was kidding.
Yeah, well, I was trying to get her on.
That's okay.
I actually briefly thought that you were serious.
Yeah, sorry, but
I'm disappointed too. I'm more disappointed than you are.
But yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. I don't think we're going to as many stories in space, Rob, and
Shonda Rhimes online too.
What?
Shonda Rhimes online too.
Oh Jesus! No, hang up.
Gone. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think people are freaking out, but it's change is good. And Sidney Newman, even in the '60s, when he was writing the briefs of the series and was pitching it to the BBC as a show, said, I'd like to cast down the road a woman as the Doctor. And it has been talked about sort of about every 10 years in the history of the show. And it's sort of had this like almost visceral backlash whenever you brought it up. So it's just good to like get it over with.
Which is what led to Moffat writing in Joanna Lumley in the comic relief special.
Yeah. Which, the only thing that scares me is as a lot of people have brought up, my friend Mara brought this up actually, that, she's hoping now that if it's viewed a failure, it doesn't kill feminism in Doctor Who. And I'm like, well, the BBC's looking at this as like, we got the novelty of a female doctor, we're going to get a huge ratings bounce. But I think people are going to be really surprised, depending on how the scripts. I think they're going to be really surprised. And I think the sort of arc for the season thing may actually work to an advantage rather than a disadvantage.
Well, because that's what he's done.
Yeah.
even if you look at Law and Order, even though the nuts and bolts of those cases were from the American show, all of the subplots and actually all of the character stuff that was on that show was his. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's so having it sort of be, and I think it might be a shorter season too. I'm wondering if they're going to only do 9 or 10 rather, because it says when's it supposed to start? Like late 20? I think it's going to start.
I think it's fall 2018.
So I bet we don't even get. I bet we get a Christmas special for Dragon Con, and then nothing until the next Dragon Con. That is my guess.
Well, you're assuming that England will still be around and that it won't be walled off from the rest of the world by that time.
People
there
tried
are contracts in place.
They tried to do that to him once. I don't think it's going to work again. Actually, twice. So, but yeah, I mean, I think toughly. I really wish I could have seen Kim when she found out, because she was the first person I thought of that was very excited.
Yeah, she was pretty excited. I'm like, the minute she saw the video, I'm like, yep, Kim's watching the show again.
I had this image in my head of Kim jumping up off the couch, going, "Fuck you, Stephen Moffat," and flipping off the TV and then doing a little happy dance.
Well, she hasn't watched the current series yet, or the last series, so.
Well, I know it's really hard to watch Stephen Moffat sometimes, but my God, Peter Capaldi is just, amazing.
Yeah. Well, I was actually having a conversation with somebody on a forum about Peter Capaldi's just overall gravitas and ability to just make any shitty material work. Which, and to be fair, a lot of this series has been very good, but a lot of that has been based on the performance between him and Mackie.
Yes.
Well,
and I think it's the both of them that have made it work. So I think that's been an interesting place to go with that. But go ahead, Rob.
Well, for me, Matt Lucas was just absolutely amazing.
Yes, Matt Lucas was really good.
I mean, I don't know,
and really kind of, and in the background, very, very good with what he had, because they didn't really give him very much, but he was very good.
Well, it was interesting. It was, for Moffat, it's an interesting study in sort of nuance, because instead of giving the guy everything and wrecking the dynamic with Pearl Mackie and Capaldi, he sort of restrained Lucas. But Matt Lucas isn't a comedic stooge in the stories, but he's not necessarily the focal point of them either. He totally sort of works, which is very weird for sort of the Moffat era to have a character that sort of like completely works, Yeah,
because that was the one thing that I was talking about with somebody, was that the one constant through the Moffat era is there are really good plots. Some of them have been, you needed a wall chart to analyze and figure out, but there hasn't been a whole lot of character. There hasn't been a whole lot of character work, and that's what we've been talking about before, because his stories, arguably between the Davies era and the Moffat era had better stories, or at least stories that at least had a sense to them. Russell's stories tended to have great character moments and came out of those character moments, but the plots were somewhat secondary.
Yeah, I mean, both Moffat and Davis had this sort of Hitchcockian view of presenting television, and that you give people sort of big moments and everything in between will just sort of fill in the cracks, but you don't have to get very detailed in it. It's kind of an interesting way of doing things. But so in case you didn't know, we have a female Doctor Who. It's going to be fine. Don't freak out. Don't be an asshole. Don't be Ian Levine.
Well, I hate all doctors.
Never be Ian Levine, okay? That's a general rule to go by. Go ahead, sorry.
That's right. Yes, John, you hate all Doctor Who.
Oh, I was just saying I hate them all equally, so it doesn't
matter
whether it's a girl or
you hate your good friend Sylvester McCoy?
Well, except for him, of course. Yeah. Me and him are tight. We're really tight. In fact, actually, we're going to go have tea later. That's something they do, right? The doctors?
Yeah.
See, I was trying to figure this out. This is weird, but it bothers me that I cannot fathom the headspace one must be in to get upset about this. You know?
Well,
I don't get it. I don't get it. And I can get other geek rage type things, right? I can get other ones, but like, oh my God, the character's a woman. I don't get that.
I question whether the people that are really upset
actually watch
or actual fans, right? Exactly, or if they're just trolls. Because it seems to me that anybody that's normally anybody who's a geek usually has some sort of, you know.
Well, John, I have to tell you that all of this outrage is really all about ethics in Doctor Who.
Well, there's a couple really interesting things that have come out about it, and of course, I'm a nerd enough that I've read a lot of like scholarly academician crap that's come out in the last couple days. Article somebody wrote about, you know, casting Doctor Who as a political act. And that there, you know, you look at the sort of the politics of the last series, and then Jodie Whittaker gets cast as the Doctor, shows up on the set with blonde hair, and she's like, "I am president of the world," right? And you know, there's a certain sort of fuck you in the casting of this to sort of the old guard and the old way of doing things. Not that she's not deserving of doing it, and not that the show doesn't need a reboot, but there is a certain amount of like, you stuffy people need to get over it. There is a lot of that to this, you know, which is interesting. And a lot of people that are upset in England, it's not that they've cast a woman as much as they've broke from the tradition. And because in England, whenever you sort of break any sort of really long-standing tradition, they freak the fuck out, right? Sort of like if the Queen dies and they skip Charles and give it to William, they're gonna freak the fuck out, right? It's almost like sort of that kind of an experience. What's weird about this is just the amount, like WEJ said, of just visceral stupidity that's coming out from people about something that's like, really? You're upset about this? You know, the new Jedi's a woman. The new Star Trek captain's a woman.
But the thing is people are griping about that. I mean, Wonder Woman, I think, was one of the lowest grossing, positively reviewed superhero movie. We face this all the time, though. Yeah. I mean, it's like this backlash of, you know, the poor fanboy is not happy that somebody said something, and this stemmed from Mad Max a number of years ago, because he wasn't, you know, Mad Max wasn't the hero guy. So now the fantasy is these guys, you know, and I'm generalizing and I apologize, but some go in, you know, because it's like, hey, we're the White Knights, we're the ones, we're being sidetracked.
Yeah. And I was just looking up unadjusted dollars. Wonder Woman is actually number 9 of comic book adaptation films. Just below Guardians 2 and above Spider-Man 2.
And I think is it leading the DC films, or has it not gotten ahead of other DC films yet?
If we're talking about DC expanded universe, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't know about unadjusted, but in adjusted dollars, adjusted for 2017, it is 15th.
Wow.
So because you've got and it goes very quickly: Avengers, Dark Knight, Spider-Man, as in the Sony one, Batman, the Keaton one, Spider-Man 2, Dark Knight Rises, Superman, the original, Men in Black, Age of Ultron, Spider-Man 3, Iron Man 3, Civil War, Iron Man, then Guardians 2 and Wonder Woman. So, yeah. So, but what and I get that, Rox, and I hate that, but it's just it's so weird because I just can't, and it bothers me kind of as a writer because I try to put myself into other people's headspaces, and even if I hate where they are, generally see how they got there. You know, I can generally kind of make that work, but that I just can't make work.
I know.
Especially, you know, even. I mean, I'm like, to a certain extent, and even though it is just as stupid, it's like, you know, oh my God, they've cast so and so as black. You know, it's like, okay, and who cares?
There was a tiny wee bit of this when Idris Elba got cast in Dark Tower. Not on this level, but there was a little bit of that, which it bugged the hell out of me.
There was a huge backlash when he was Thor. Not Hemsworth.
Hemdell, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people were freaking the fuck out when he was rumored to be Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I have concerns, but they're grounded in anything but that. It's like, you know, my two concerns about Idris Elba were, one, that race becomes an issue in Drawing of the Three with the introduction of Odetta Holmes. And the way to get around that is simply, you know, reverse the race again, or for her, or, you know, change it up a bit so that it keeps that meaning. Because there's a black woman they get from, I think, 1950s New York.
Yeah.
And so that it's sort of a thing. But that's easily dealt with. My other thing was that, you know, in my head, he's always been Clint Eastwood-esque, not in he's white, but just when you approach him from behind, you might think you could take him. But the moment he turns around and you see his face and you see his eyes, you shit yourself and go, oh my God, I've made a horrible mistake. Idris Elba, I don't care what direction you come at him from.
Yeah.
You'd be stupid to think, I mean, it's like I said before, I forget the name of the film, but he was in it with Kit Harington, where Kit Harington is a pickpocket who Idris Elba, who's like an NSA guy, is chasing. And he's like, well, if you're innocent, why did you run? And Kit Harington goes, have you seen yourself?
Yeah, but Omar could still take him.
Well,
I still want to see him on a Midsummer Murder.
I agree. I still think a Luther Midsummer Murders. Even do it for Red Nose Day. Something. I mean, come on.
Yes. Oh my God. I think that would be fantastic.
Well, and again, like with the Ghostbusters reboot, my main problem. First of all, I when I first saw the picture of the cast in costume, I thought it was cosplay because I didn't recognize any of them, and they were shot leaning back against the ectomobile. And people were giving me shit at Dragon Con. Cosplay fucking central for making a cosplay-related comment. Whatever.
Yeah.
But my main concern about that was I don't like reboots. I like when you can tie it back to the original in some form or fashion. Like, I love the Star Trek non-reboot. That makes me so happy because it doesn't invalidate what came before. That's just a sci-fi geek thing of mine. But my understanding is, in the comic book, they've dealt with how you could have the original Ghostbusters and the new Ghostbusters. And I'm like, great, done. I'm fine now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just that way.
And I liked the Ghostbusters film. I thought it was I could have been funnier in places. The middle bit was a bit draggy, but the first film overall, the middle bit was draggy. So
but overall it was great.
I thought I've been on record as saying I think it's funnier than the first one. I don't think it's necessarily better. They're way different movies, but this one was a lot funnier.
The first Ghostbusters 2 is really dark. The new one isn't.
Yeah,
but it's also the time it was made in. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But yes, we have a new Doctor Who. It's a woman. Deal with it.
I'm fine with it. I might watch a couple episodes.
You know what, Rob? I'm not going to watch. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to watch.
Oh, John. Oh, that's so typical.
Me?
Yes.
Exactly what I planned on
Again,
doing.
all complaints should be sent to John Boutel.
John at theuniquegeek.com.
Just in general, just about anything. Does it need to specifically be, Jodie Whittaker based?
No, just anything.
Well, on top of this,
I had a problem with my ankle like last week, so I have to send that to John now.
So Rox.
Yes.
All right, check it out. Box Office Mojo has a comparison between all the DC Extended Universe films.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder Woman is number 1 with 381 million.
Okay.
With next Batman and Superman with 330. That's how far behind it is. Suicide Squad with 325. And then Man of Steel with 291. In addition, the second weekend drop for Wonder Woman is just 43%.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Whereas all the other 3 films are in the 60% range.
Well, yeah. Honestly, it also could be just people are waning on their interest in seeing. I know it's been said before because
Spider-Man had a huge drop off.
Yeah, the biggest one of all the Marvel, and it's probably my second favorite so far.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Spider-Man is, to me, it's like it's different, but it's not, in that people, just like with the Incredible Hulk movie. I thought the Incredible Hulk movie would have been better received if its job had not become to crawl out of the crater that Ang Lee had put it in.
Yeah.
And what I've heard from everyone who has not seen Spider-Man, like, Cosette and Thespia and everyone else who has not just been chomping at the bit to go see it, it's like, oh God, that's right, they did it again. So I think part of the problem is it's not even necessarily superhero burnout. It's just, oh my God, they're rebooting Spider-Man again.
Yeah.
I
had to explain that to Janet too.
It's also telling when you were talking earlier about when you were listing off the highest franchises, or the films, where you're having to make the break and go, which version of which franchise is it? Which version are we talking about? Which Spider-Man are we? Yeah. So then you get into that quagmire. So
right.
Yeah.
And I think it will do well on word of mouth. It has been, I think. And I think it will do really well in video and streaming, because that's when people will go, oh, yeah, I'll check it out. And they'll see how much fucking fun it is. Because it is worlds away from the other 2 franchises. Worlds away.
Yes.
And I think in terms of the business it did, I mean, had it launched in the July 4th holiday zone, I don't know if that might have been a different story.
Yeah.
That was always the question on that. Why do it after the July 4th holiday? But because for a while it had been scheduled there, and Despicable Me dropped out, and then it dropped back in. And
wait a minute, there was something.
Because there was something about the release date where originally they had July 4th weekend, and then they
basically
Despicable Me went back into it, and
also Ape stole some of its thunder too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the other thing that stole a lot of its thunder is Baby Driver. That thing's got a momentum that's not slowing.
Oh God,
down.
I really want to see that movie.
Dude.
Oh,
John,
we can talk about that in a minute. That was really good.
John, you've got to see it.
All right, I'm going to leave the podcast. I'll keep it recording. I'm just going to go see
5.
it
now. I did 4 showings in a day.
Oh wow!
Wow.
No.
It's getting back to Wonder Woman real quick. I knew some women that thought it wasn't feminist enough, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, no. I said it was a smart film. The guys who formed the team understood. We follow her because she kicks ass. It's like, what didn't you get?
Did you see where the bullets went? Follow her.
Yes. It's like, oh my God. And none of the guys, and you're talking at a time that it'd be like, women don't do this. It's like, no, we go with her. That, I love that. I love the whole, the whole premise of it. And it was such a smart film. And it wasn't what DC just drives you to wanting to just, start drinking.
And it had a heart.
It did. But it also had some balance to it in that
it
it was kind of an origin story, but not, in that it was more her introduction to the world than her actual origin.
Yeah.
And she was, and Gal Gadot, who interestingly enough, I found out, I forget who told me this, was Zack Snyder's pick.
Yeah.
The director did not want her. Specifically did not want her, and Zack Snyder said, no, she's Wonder Woman. And the director has come out and said, he was totally right, I was totally wrong. She is Wonder Woman.
He can be right twice in his career.
I know. He has some, and he makes great soundtracks. Anyway, the point being is that she was able to go from, oh, look, a baby, to what the fuck is wrong with you people?
Yes.
And then going, and can I just say, and I may have said this before, but going over the top into No Man's Land, that whole sequence, I was tearing up. I don't know what was going on with me, but it just blew my mind what I was seeing. It was so fucking awesome. I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
Because I knew when I saw it in the trailer, I was like, that looks amazing. But I had no idea that was going to be the costume reveal, which they did very organically. They kept it hidden very organically, which I really liked. And I just had no idea what that action sequence was going to turn into. And it was wonderful. But yeah, you're right. And the other thing, too, about the guys, though, Rox, which I liked, was they kind of knew, yeah, she's the one we follow. But like when, oh God, what's his name? The con artist was talking about the sniper, saying basically everybody's fighting their own battles, Diana. It's like they also knew that she was new there and didn't know everything.
She didn't have the baggage.
Right.
She didn't have the baggage.
She didn't have the baggage. She didn't have the PTSD, that sort of thing.
Yeah, but they handled it in a way that's not, oh, you silly woman, you don't know these things, which a lot of films do.
Yes.
It was just like one soldier to another.
Yes.
So I liked so much about that film. It was so smart. You're right. It did so many things so well. That I'm pleased with it. I saw it again. I've seen it twice in the theater, and it was just fantastic. So there you have it. DC is shitting themselves because the one film they wanted it to do well, but not that well.
Oh no!
So yeah, that's the next question. I mean, does that mean are we more hopeful about Justice League? Or
no.
Okay.
No. When people are laughing when they see Aquaman, it's not a good sign.
See, here's the problem though. That I liked the San Diego footage that they showed last year.
Oh,
it was good. It had a nice sense of humor. It had a nice sense of badassery. It had everything I wanted. That gave me hope. But then the new
that's
trailer,
not going to be the film.
No, I know. But the new trailer, here's the reason why Aquaman's laughable, is because instead of being what he should be, which is, and what they figured out in the comics is, he's fucking royalty. He and Diana are, to a certain extent,
gods,
understand each other because they're both royalty. And he carries himself that way a lot in the comics. Whereas in the new trailer, he's like, yeah! And he's like flying off to fight shit with his trident. It's like, no, please tell, because if you had like stately Jason Momoa who could in battle kick some ass, righteously, I think that would be an awesome Aquaman. But if you got him so that you could have him going, yeah, like flying off and shit, I'm like, no, don't do that. And Cyborg looks like shit. He honestly looks like somebody put the poor actor in a green screen suit that covered everything but one half his face, and then they didn't finish the CG for his body. It looks fucking awful.
There's an extra in the movie, and when they were filming it, he's in some of the scenes with Cyborg, and he's like, the extras and sort of the side people and some of the crew were like, they're like, oh my God, you poor man, you have to wear that? Kind of like the vibe they got is like, really? Everything else looks so nice. Why does this look so crap? Is kind of the vibe that they're getting. So I'm hoping that gets better.
Well, I will say this. it makes me like the Flash armor a lot better. I mean, by comparison, it looks great. And I hate that Flash armor. I don't even mind the guy they've got playing the Flash. I don't know. Because, I don't know, maybe it's better for selling action figures? I have no idea. Yeah. We should ask Madman. He's the action figure fiend.
Yeah.
Every day on Instagram, well, I bought these 14 more figures. Holy shit, dude.
Well, you've got to get the Build-A-Figure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what's going to be crazy. Oh, we have these 300 Marvel Universe characters, and with these pieces, you can build Galactus. To scale.
Oh. So do we talk about TV now?
We talk about Baby Driver.
I didn't see
Bottoms.
Ah.
Oh, God.
Rocks.
What?
You gotta see Baby Driver.
Rocks,
I do? Okay, all right.
Rocks, please see it.
Okay.
It is
all right.
It is so good.
Okay. I was going to go tonight, but you guys made me come here.
Rocks, for example, Rocks.
What, Rob?
How many times do I randomly text you useless shit about Baby Driver?
A couple times a day.
There you go.
Okay.
I've noticed so much bizarre shit in that movie that it's like,
really?
Oh yeah.
Well, I keep taking different groups of people to go, and Janet had this huge project to work on, so I was like, it got me out of the house, and it's at the theater by my house, Rocks.
Yeah.
So we got married, and so it was free, so we could just keep going.
Shit, I would.
But like, the more you see it, the more you enjoy it.
By the way, does getting married in the theater give you the free passes? Because
no,
okay,
no, we had that before.
Tuffley's like, honey, we're going down to get our vows renewed.
It's a long story.
It's our anniversary, honey. I know you like movies.
Hey, it's her idea, not mine. I just do what I'm told. Rocks, there's not a lot of bicycles in it, but it's okay. You'll love it.
I like a good chase scene.
What's the one big bit where he steals the bike?
Oh yeah,
that's true.
All right, I'm in.
It's really, really, really good. I mean,
how's the soundtrack? Because people have been talking about. All right.
Oh God, it's so good.
Yeah,
it's so good. But the thing is, this movie uses Edgar Wright, I'm convinced, uses and needs music the same way I do. Because you have to be the type of person who will, at the start of a heist, go, wait, I gotta back up the song.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You
have to be. I am that person. I am that person.
Yes.
I'm like,
I got all kinds of leering white looks from Janet when they were playing The Damned.
Oh, that was so great. But everyone needs to see it on the big screen. It is so good. And I actually tweeted to Edgar Wright, who liked it, who liked my tweet, that I was going to take cassette to see it this weekend. We had Saturday free. Every showing was basically sold out until 10:45. But we could have gone to see Spider-Man at any point.
Wow.
Yeah.
I included that just as a comparison, but I think he probably appreciated the Marvel dig too.
Well, I did like the soundtrack for Spider-Man. It was a good choice to put the Ramones in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, with Baby Driver, it goes from like, Carla Thomas to like Boards of Canada to like John Spencer in like 4 steps, and it all works.
Huh. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I found I had never heard of the person who did the Nowhere to Run cover, Boga.
Yes.
They also do a fantastic Flock of Seagulls cover.
Yes.
Like a electronic dirge version of Iran, which is fantastic.
Oh my God. Yes. I saw them in concert years ago.
You did?
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
Oh, Flock of Seagulls? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
When they were at their top, I saw them. I saw them open up for the Go-Go's.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Hey, I saw them open for the Go-Go's.
You mean Hair Level, right?
Yes. Oh my God, yes. It was awesome because we snuck in. I didn't even pay for the concert. And I babysat for a cop, and he always was the door guy. So we snuck in and went up, and you just see this hair. It's great. Yes.
And at that time, nothing. You're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Well, no, I knew.
Go-Go's after.
What?
Well, I just meant for culturally, not you, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nobody knew. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'll see it. I will see that.
Good.
Because if you don't, I'm going to text you every day. Did you see?
All right.
Maybe like I'm in the Netherlands. Did you see Baby Driver? Did you see Baby Driver?
Right.
Everyone
go to the Anne Frank house and see Baby Driver.
I don't know. There's debate.
So good.
Yeah. Well, what? Anne Frank house.
So
that too.
This weekend you see Dunkirk, and then you go see Baby Driver. And if you see Dunkirk, see it in 70 millimeter.
Oh, my theater's got it at 35 or whatever.
Yeah, there's a list online.
I support my local one that I can walk to.
Hey Rob,
I need to see.
There's nothing. Yeah.
Hey Rob, that new
as much as I love Baby Driver, right? Dunkirk technically is everything.
That looks fantastic. Yeah,
and he's gonna get the Oscar. If he doesn't get the Oscar, it's just stupid.
Yeah, that Christopher Nolan film looks like a real up piece right there.
Oh, it's
excellent.
Dude, I mean,
yeah.
You got Kevin Branagh again. You got Mark Rylance. You know,
Tom Hardy.
Yeah. It's
it's showing in 70 millimeter here, so I'll check that out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an old-fashioned person. If you can see anything in 70 millimeter, do it, just because I have the really cool experience of it, and there's a richness in the colors. But it's loud. It's loud as fuck, and it's great. I mean, it's just.
Although
it just reminds me.
You did see Hateful Eight in 70 millimeter when it came around, right?
Yeah.
Which I didn't hate. I didn't hate the Hateful Eight. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it.
It was all right. It was like Reservoir Dogs with a lot of snow.
Yes.
Which I was fine with because, I mean, Kurt Russell with a lot of facial hair, which he apparently kept because he did like 2 other Westerns. I'm like, hey, I grew this. Go ahead and pay me for it again.
Well, and to be fair, a few are Madonna references.
Yes.
True. But in addition to Dunkirk, this weekend I've got to see Valerian.
Oh, yeah. That's coming out too.
Let me know.
No, so you haven't seen it, Rob?
I haven't, but let me know how it is, because I'll go after you see it.
Okay.
Because I've got a couple things this weekend. I've got to pick spots, so I got probably you. The thing that's gonna be the thing that falls through the cracks. So.
Well, it looks like Dunkirk is eating its lunch because they've only got it in one house at the IMAX theater. It's not the IMAX, obviously. But and they're running like, 2 standard and 2 3D in the same house. So
yeah.
But I mean, visually it's going to be amazing regardless. So
yeah. Well, best in stuff always is.
Yeah. Which oh God, didn't he? Okay, am I hallucinating or wasn't he like the producer on Hannah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to see that again. And aren't they turning that into a series as well?
I thought so.
Is that a Netflix? Yeah. Did Netflix do that?
Amazon.
Netflix doing that? Amazon's doing that. Okay.
Yeah, I think they are.
Is it all being scored by the Chemical Brothers?
Oh, that would be awesome. That's such a great movie.
Nice.
Oh yeah. What was it? Speaking of great movies, just to throw this in real quick, I finally saw The Raid 2, which is amazing. And and it is so beautifully shot, it's almost distracting from the beatdowns. Swear to God. And no, honestly, it's so beautifully shot. Cinematography is just amazing for a film about kicking the shit out of people. And the behind the scenes stuff about how they made things work is just incredible. So that, and I finally saw John Wick 2, which I really enjoyed.
I haven't watched it yet.
I really enjoyed it.
Was it more of the same?
it's more, but it's like the whole that world that you got a glimpse of in the first film.
Right.
More of that is revealed, but not to its detriment. It's actually pretty cool. And
But did anybody get shot in the head? That's all I want to know.
Yeah, quite a few people. And I will say this, and Rob, you've seen it, right? John Wick 2?
Yes.
Did we lose Rob?
No, Rob.
No. Yes.
Oh, Rob's gone away. Oh. Anyway, basically,
Manchester.
And Rox, you would appreciate this too. The person they got to play the Ian McShane, the equivalent of Ian McShane in Europe.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I actually texted Doc. I said, this movie has now reached legend proportions.
Whoa.
So it made me very happy. Oh, and real quick on Spider-Man before I forget, because it keeps jumping back into my brain. The other thing I really like what they did was they used this film, I think, to soften Tony to get ready for what's coming next, because because they did a really great job of making Tony in Civil War pretty much justified for what happened.
Yeah.
It made sense.
Well, they did a better job handling Tony in the film than they did the actual Civil War comic.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I know. There's no question.
And the best trick they did in that film was make everybody justified.
Yes. Oh, it was great. It was so much better.
And the way it is when you come into Homecoming, so you have the baggage from Civil War that kind of plays in if you're coming in from Civil War. If you're coming in from the Spider-Man door, you don't quite get it as much, or it doesn't connect as much, I don't think.
Right.
But there's a lot of scenes that Downey plays off where it's, you can kind of see the regret.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, he is so great at the nuances of, I mean, like when I go back and watch Civil War, you can just see a lot of shit happening in his face. And I absolutely love the bit where he says, "I wanted you to be better than me."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was so honest and so real. Because I love the fact that he sees in this kid, holy shit, this could have been me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so did you catch the bit where at one point Holland said the kid in Iron Man 3 was actually Peter? And that Marvel has actually said that was a thing he could say?
No.
Yeah. That's supposed to be tied together. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's it's Iron Man 2. So the little kid that kind of briefly distracts Whiplash in Iron Man 2 is at the science fair as Peter.
Oh, okay.
With the Iron Man mask on, the little kid with the Iron Man.
Yeah.
Marvel is saying that's Peter. That was Peter Parker.
Huh.
Which of course you can. I mean,
which you can.
What does it matter? I mean,
they didn't plan it that way, but yeah, sure, they can say that now. Because apparently Tom Holland said in an interview, "Yeah, I can say that, Tim. They told me I could say that."
Nice.
So that is apparently they've made that canon that was actually Peter Parker. Nice. Until Sony goes and pulls the rights, which they'll do in about 2 films. In which case, no, that wasn't fucking Peter. No.
Well, wait a minute, though.
That was Miles.
Do you really think they'll pull the rights?
I think at some point Sony's going to get it. Well, if it had done much better in its opening weekend, they probably would as soon as possible. They're doing a Tom Hardy Venom film. I mean, that sort of explains their motivations here. So
yeah, but see, somebody's been doing a Venom film for the last 20 years?
Yeah, but they haven't had a casting attached to it, though.
Oh, yeah, I think they have, actually. I mean, there were people rumored, but then again, that was before you had, every everybody, everybody on the internet digging for shit. But,
but this has got a pretty solid casting on it, so I am pretty sure they're going to go through with it, or they're going to pay Tom Hardy a lot of money, in which case he doesn't really care either way. So,
well, but and here's the thing that would be interesting though is, can they? I mean, there's nothing saying that they can't. This Spider-Man, the Tom Holland Spider-Man, could Sony use him and basically share him with Marvel?
Well, what the official line right now is that the Venom film is being done outside of the Spider-Man verse.
Mm-hmm.
That's the official line on it. Now, the other thing that I thought was interesting was the fact that they're alluding to Miles in the film.
Mm-hmm. I looked that up because I didn't catch it initially.
Yeah. Donald Glover.
Who Donald Glover was supposed to be.
Yeah, Donald Glover is Miles Morales' uncle.
From the comics.
From the comics. Now, the other Easter eggish thing about this is that Donald Glover is the voice of Miles in the cartoon.
And was the inspiration for Miles Morales to begin with.
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing though about the Venom movie is that back when it was New Line, it was at New Line, they had plans to do it independently of Spider-Man completely.
Well, so they had to.
No, I know they had to, but I'm like, there's no reason why you couldn't minimize the Spider-Man in it. Because, I mean, you kind of have to anyway, because where Venom comes from is Marvel Secret Wars, and it was Spider-Man's costume.
Yeah.
So unless you're going to have a whole Spider-Man movie like they did with Spider-Man 3, then you're kind of... But, I mean, the symbiote could have come from anywhere.
Yeah.
So, real quick, how did they figure... Because, it's a Sony picture, and then the Marvel studio... How do they split the proceeds? How is the legality of all
Marvel gets all the merch, I believe, and Marvel gets nothing from the film. Marvel gets all the merch. Sony gets all the movie money. I think that's how it breaks out. Because Sony actually paid to produce it, and you can correct me on this, but I seem to have read somewhere where Sony actually paid for everything on the film. Marvel just had basically creative control, but not really. But Marvel had the merch rights. I guess the deal was Marvel had the merch rights, so they could do merchandise for the film, even though Marvel clearly had merchandise rights for Spider-Man to begin with. And Sony gets all the movie money.
So does it still stand that Sony has to keep Spider-Man going in order for it to keep the rights? Okay.
Yes.
I tried to explain that to my boyfriend, and he's like, "What?"
And the other thing,
the deal doesn't stop any of the mechanisms. The cross-pollination deal doesn't stop any of the mechanisms. It just means that Marvel's going to take part in it creatively, which I guess the way they sold it to Sony was, we could probably deliver you a better film if that's what you're worried about. So let us do it. Let us pick the director. Let us make all the creative choices. We'll bring our Narcast people, and because I think part of the deal was, I think too, in the next film, the Homecoming sequel, there's going to be another Marvel character in it. They just haven't said who yet. So another Marvel character will be part of the story in the next film. So Marvel gets makes all the creative choices, but Sony's producing it. I think that's how it works, and Marvel gets all the merch.
All right.
So, am I close to being right on that, WEJ?
As far as I know, you're right.
Okay.
But I mean, I was just looking at what the worldwide summary on this was, and I don't know everywhere that's open, but
I don't think it's opened everywhere, but it's going to open in markets where some of these other films haven't.
Interesting.
So I know it's going to open. I know it's going to open in China because I know a couple of the DC films and a couple of the Marvel films. One of them didn't open in China. So I know it's going to open in a lot more foreign markets, a couple of more foreign markets than some of the previous films have. So
it's apparently it's apparently open. It's opened everywhere. Well, I don't see China. Okay. I don't see China on the list. I will say that South Korea is on the list, and 42.9 million from South Korea alone.
Yeah,
that is fucking huge. That is. Wait, what is the? Hang on. What was the opening weekend here?
The opening weekend here wasn't it 115?
Yeah, 117.
Yeah,
117. So basically, South Korea is
did
second.
Half of our opening. Yeah.
Yeah, second. Below the U.S. Wow. Interesting.
Oh, this is going to make money for Sony. Sony's reasoning here was we get free money from this virtually.
Yeah, but that's my question is, why would they take it back completely if the one problem that people have with this is, they've rebooted it again?
Well, no, I think this is...
If you reboot it a fourth time, or you do it without the MCU, then you lose all of that.
Well, I'm guessing that's kind of that's probably more of the motivation besides being a character thing, behind the ending, which is basically Peter decides not to join the Avengers. Full stop. Which was
a great.
Yeah.
Which was great. I mean, it was like to me that was smart. Like Doctor Strange not ending the movie as the Sorcerer Supreme was smart.
Yeah. And I think in that way, they've set the table to where if Sony takes it back, it doesn't do anything to damage the world. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Why don't we see the Avengers showing up? Well, because Peter said he could. Peter's off in his own corner. That's why.
But I don't know if it is opening in China.
Is it not? I'd read that it was, but
I don't. Well, it might be. Let's see. Spider-Man: Homecoming. No, I'm just thinking from a business perspective. Why would you take it back if you're getting really great reviews and you're making money, like you said, and if everything's going well, why take it back?
I think that's just the big suspicion that Sony would take it back. But we'll see. Because they've got another movie and I think they get a cut of what Spidey's appearances in Avengers. So I think they're in on that. They get money from Spidey being in Avengers too. So that'll be interesting.
Okay. What's happened is they don't have an official release date in China yet. So it's probably not going to show up until at least August.
Yeah, but it is going to get released there.
Oh yeah, it is. It's just that their media regulations every once in a while just have a flare up, I guess. So,
but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. And Sony's also producing the Miles Morales animated film, which is also happening.
Now, is that considered MCU?
Marvel's co-producing, which I imagine they would have to because Sony technically does not have the rights to Miles Morales.
Interesting.
If I understand the way it works, I think then the Sony deal only has the rights to Peter Parker and associated characters because Miles Morales was created later and is not part of the licensing.
Well, and was created because basically, as I understand it, Spider-Man rights got sold back when they were doing the fire sale.
Yeah.
To try to get money off of sell. Because that's when you had Captain America and Ant-Man at Artisan. You had Venom at New
this
Line,
is even before that. This is the 80s. This is when Carlico was making the deal to get because they knew James Cameron was going to direct it.
Right, you're right. You're absolutely right. Because I've read the script that James Cameron wrote, and it's horrible.
Yeah. Because that was the whole. I remember having a comic with the Stan's Soapbox thing, Stan's Soapbox, that had the James Cameron's going to do Spider-Man announcement in it, and that was the first anyone had ever heard of it. But yeah, that was going back. Oh, that was going back to was it Carlico? Am I saying? Yeah, Carlico.
Yeah.
And they had gotten. That's what made them go broke. Was they bought the rights to Spider-Man for James Cameron, and James Cameron left. Basically.
Yeah. No, you're right. That was before the fire sale.
Yeah. That was the big deal, and that was the big deal that they had made. That was right when New World had bought into Marvel, actually.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
That was when New World bought into Marvel, when after the Cameron deal. And they went belly up not too long after because they bought Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah, hell, I remember when there was a rumor going around that Warner Brothers might buy Marvel back when they were bankrupt.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting. Okay. What else? Did we get Rob back, or is he still gone?
Oh, he's gone.
I think he's still gone.
All right, no worries. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, and we lost George Romero.
We did.
Yeah.
Which I'm really bummed about, because he there are, like, Edgar Wright has said it, and it's so true. There are so many people that owe their careers to George Romero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kirkman. Did you see Kirkman's thing?
No, I did not.
Because Kirkman put out a thing that basically echoed the same thing Edgar Wright said, that none of us would have our jobs if it wasn't for George Romero.
Well, right. And it's like I said, Romero is one of the few people ever who you can point to and say he invented a genre.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I thought about it, and I think it's more of a genre than a subgenre. But it is a subgenre of horror, but because of the ability of zombie fiction to impose upon the enemy, and whatever you want, it's a little different than, say, werewolves or vampires or anything like that.
Right. Well, and if you look at history, like White Zombie or I Walked with a Zombie, totally, and those are horror films from the 40s, 50s.
Right. And they're
totally nothing.
Yeah.
Totally different. And the thing is I think there may be another zombie film, but that's pertaining to what drug-induced, through, the East Indias, that type of a genre. So right. No, you're right. He did create something totally new.
Yeah, like
I think it's kind of the melding of the horror elements, but a lot more. It was more of a political commentary.
Yeah,
or social commentary.
Social commentary, yes.
Yeah, more of a social commentary than it was overtly horrific. You know what I mean?
I think it's horrific through the social commentary.
Yes,
because to me, I mean,
because it's not about the undead people. It's about the living people and what they do.
Yes, and I think that is most prominent in Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah,
where if they would just all fucking work together, they might have been fine. But in Dawn of the Dead, the thing for me was, and this is, I think, the best executed of his social commentary films. There's a sequence in which Roger has been bitten. He's dying. Spoilers if you haven't seen the film, but if you haven't seen the film, fuck you, what are you doing? The original, by the way, the original. He's been bitten. He's pretty much about to die. And this is after they've taken over the mall. They're living in the mall. They're having what every teenage kid who saw the film was like, that, I would fucking do that. That sounds amazing. He asks Ken Faree's character, says, we whipped him, didn't we? Yeah, we whipped him good. And then there's a wide shot of him in this basically empty room, in a mattress on the floor, leaned back up against the wall, near death, and he screams, "We whipped him and we got it all." And to me, that's horrific.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that you could have nothing but emptiness and feel like you had won, and you're about to die, and that's what you're clinging to. Jesus, I'm feeling it in my chest right now. That to me is, whenever I see that film, and I watch it at least once a year, that kills me every fucking time. That to me is what true horror is, and that's what Romero taught me, was not, like you said, the zombies aren't horrific. The zombies are nothing. You know, that's why in 28 Days Later, which again, you know, harkens back to Romero, the rage zombies, they're nothing. But coming home and finding that your parents have committed suicide and written you a note saying, "Please don't ever wake up." I mean, fuck me. That's horrific. Yeah. That is like, so, and the problem is that, as I've mentioned many times and hearing on panels, people don't know what horror is.
No.
They think horror is Friday the 13th, when Friday the 13th is a thriller.
Yes.
Whereas true horror is that. True horror is, again,
it's the consequences of the situation, not the actual situation.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, and it's the stuff that's happening not when, you know, you're being gnawed on.
Right.
You know, again in 28 Days Later, when he goes up to the wall and sees nothing but posts from people saying, "I'm so sorry I'm infected, I love you, and have you seen this person?" And you go, my God, every piece of paper up here is a life that's destroyed. That everyone around this life is destroyed. And you get just a glimpse of it, and I'm like, holy fuck, that is fucking horrific.
Yeah.
And Romero is the guy who, to me, really drove that home with Dawn of the Dead. And yeah, you know, at times the whole commercialism and capitalism is bad and what like that. That can beat you over the head, but there's so much more right with Dawn of the Dead than there is wrong. Oh, it's so good.
Well, I think the other thing that sticks with me is the ending to Night of the Living Dead.
Mm.
Oh God.
Yeah.
When he comes out of the house because he thinks he's about to be saved.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. He doesn't actually come out of the house. He looks through a window.
Out of the window. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks through a window. But here's the thing. And I watch that more than once a year.
Sorry.
We posted on the no. I'm just saying. I really watch it too often. But it doesn't frighten me as much as watching the Avengers and Man from U.N.C.L.E. too often, which I do. He doesn't really think he's going to be saved. He doesn't know what's happening. He's looking out the window because he's like, what the fuck is going on out there? And he's dead before he knows what hit him.
Yeah.
And what killed me was, and I did not find this out until several years later, according to Romero, they weren't intending to cast a black lead to make a statement.
No.
They just cast him because he was the best actor. And I think that blows my mind because it's such a tremendous statement at the end of that film.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I always read that differently. I thought he was peeking out the window because he thought he heard something. And he saw somebody that he was about to be saved, and then he gets shot. I thought... Yeah. See, maybe I'm reading that wrong. I read that wrong, but
that could be a completely valid interpretation. What I remember
is
that
shot him. That basically the deputy shot him.
Which makes the film even more relevant today than it was back then. Yeah. Fuck me. But I remember his face not changing, and and I think based on what he's gone through in that house, it's hard to trust anybody. But no, and I think that's why you had Ken Foree in Dawn of the Dead, and you had I can't think of his name in Day of the Dead, who were leads and were excellent leads, but I think by that point it was sort of tradition that you had a really excellent black lead in the film.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many films of the day were doing that. And if I can point out as well, since everybody talks about the zombie movies, one of my favorite vampire movies of all time was Romero's. It's Martin.
Yeah. See, I was going to bring that up. I was going to bring up Martin.
Fucking crazy. It is a crazy vampire movie.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
And another one with like social commentary all in it.
Oh yeah, his stuff is, you can't get away from the social commentary. I mean, part of it.
That was the problem with between his films and like other sort of kind of horror films. His were different because of the social commentary.
Yes. Yes. And I think you get to a point where, like with Land of the Dead, it becomes so heavy that it weighs down the rest of the film. Where it becomes it's the film is serving the message, not they are beneficial to each other like they were in Dawn of the Dead or even Day of the Dead, I think. But like Martin and even the Crazies had something to say about the world. So it was not as simple as, oh, hey, let's just, throw a bunch of monsters out there. And which is why I think you have those moments in 28 Days Later, which is why in Shaun of the Dead, you have, which is still one of the most amazing screenplays ever. You have them flipping from comedy to horror and back to, comedy and then back to horror seamlessly in a way that no other film can do. In a way that, I mean, the reason that I'm not a huge fan of American Werewolf in London is because I thought the blend of comedy and horror was awkward.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I didn't.
I mean, it's got wonderful moments in it, and the makeup effects in it, when you realize that that's all practical.
Yeah,
I mean, they're amazing. But to me, if you want to see how to do that, and why I just have tremendous respect for Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg as writers, is Shaun of the Dead, the sequence with his mom in the bar is fucking amazing.
It is.
It's a roller coaster. So, but that goes straight back to Romero, is because they understand, and shit, I mean, Walking Dead is built on it.
Yeah.
You could not have Walking Dead without, the Romero-esque social commentary going on.
And I think actually Kirkman might have written a longer piece after the first thing he wrote, but I know Kirkman's been talking about it a lot in the last couple of days, obviously.
I'm sure.
Okay, so we also have Martin Landau that passed away.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I was happy. I saw him at Dragon Con a number of years ago.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago.
Yes. But it was it was funny because he was there, and I think Ernest Borgnine was there at the same time, and both of them, they're like, why are we here? They just didn't understand, like,
Oh my God, they deserve to be there more than most people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, I mean, they got into it once they understood what was going.
Yeah.
But it was, it was great.
Yeah, I saw Martin Landau outside the Hilton smoking a lot. Because we stayed at the Hilton, so it's like, oh yeah, there's Martin Landau. There's Doc Hammer. I knew where I could find them if I wanted to go, like, say hi. I know I can go outside and speak to Martin Landau and Doc outside the Hilton.
Yeah. So. Yes. So, I mean, he had a really good long career. I liked,
He did. And I went back and looked, and when he won the Oscar for Ed Wood, I went to go see who he was up against, and Sam Jackson for Pulp Fiction was that year.
Yeah.
But he was so good in Ed Wood. I mean, it just.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the film as a whole is excellent, but he was amazing, and I still regret the fact that, and maybe there was some truth to it, but there was a rumor that they wanted him and Jeremy Irons to do a film together as Boris and Bela.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was rumored for years and years and years. But it's about as long as the Vega brothers Tarantino film has been rumored. But would have been great. But yeah, he was so good in that. But yeah, so watch. So if you're listening, watch Martin, and also watch Space 1999.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Great in that.
Yes.
Yeah. Although, I will say, like, the first season opening credits of Space 1999 are way longer than the actual people that are in the listing for the credits, because isn't it like 3 people?
Yeah.
It's like the opening credits are like 3 minutes for like 3 people.
Yes.
Because it's like Landau, Barbara Bain, and I forget the other guy, but he was the British actor. But those are the only 3 people who were listed in the credits at the beginning of the show in the first season. And it's the ridiculous, 70s-tastic theme. Which I find weird, because in the second season, when they actually got like an entire when they said, oh, there are more people on this show. The second season, they got more people on the show, and then the opening credits are like 45 seconds. Which is the thing I always remember about Space 1999.
I didn't realize it wasn't that. How many seasons did that go?
There were only 2.
Yeah.
There were only
really?
2.
Yeah.
There were only 2 because it was a British production.
Yeah.
And
in season 2, it's like, oh my God, because they had a lot of episodes, I think, but it was funny because it's like season 2 is like, oh, we need an alien. We haven't seen one. We're all on the moon. It's getting boring. And then Peter Cushing
was
actually
the Andersons, right?
Yeah, that was Jerry Anderson.
Okay, yeah, I thought that was right. Yeah,
that was Jerry Anderson. Yeah,
Peter Cushing was in an episode of that, and I think
I don't remember that.
And Christopher Lee were both in it. I think
Ian McShane's in like the second episode.
Wow,
nice.
Ian McShane is like the victim of the week in the second episode. I think second episode. Or the unexplained space thing happens to him, and he's like kind of the monster of the week.
Yeah.
I believe that's episode 2.
Wow. Okay. And he was only on 3 seasons of Mission Impossible, right?
Yeah, he was only in 3 years of Mission Impossible, because him and Barbara Bain both left because of a contract dispute.
Yeah. And then he gets replaced because...
Well, actually, he left for the contract dispute. She left because she was married to him. So...
Well, that'll do it to you.
And he was in an episode of... he was in a Twilight Zone. Yeah. Which was a really good one, because he was just...
Which one was that one?
He was a spy, and somebody he had to get out of the room. And that was the one that he had to somehow, trick the whole room was wired for explosives. So it was
outside that thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And basically he was able to re-rig everything so that the guy came in and he was exploded. So, but it was a good episode.
Oh, he was actually in, he was in 3 episodes of The Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Oh.
2 of the classic one and 1 of the revival.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. I need to go back and watch the revival again, because there's so much good stuff in that. But
North by Northwest.
Yeah, North by Northwest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well, yeah. So we lost 2 major ones, especially Romero for me. That's huge. I need to just start watching his films. Well, I might watch Land of the Dead again, because the Samoan guy in it is fantastic. But
Actually, Aaron posted the Game of Thrones season premiere killed both Romero and Martin Landau in the first episode.
Jesus. Nice. Yeah, which I'm still woefully behind on, so I don't know what the fuck's happening in there. They're so far beyond the movie, beyond the books at this point. I'm like, are they coming out at this point, or is someone just going to novelize them? The fucking series.
Well, Martin is actually taking note. Really? You're going to do that? Let's see. Wait, really? Okay, let me write that down. That looks good. That's good. I'll write that down.
Well, they are sort of kind of heading towards the same ending.
Well, wasn't there a deal where he told them how he was going to end it, and they're kind of working with that? Is that what they're doing?
Well, I believe it's like Rowling was with Yates and the screenwriter.
Yeah.
For Harry Potter, they knew how it was going to end.
Okay.
Because they probably guessed how it was going to end, considering that they were like, the thing that got them the job was Martin asked them, okay, if you're such fans of the book, who's John's mom? And they got it right. They nailed it. So he was like, okay, yeah, totally, you got it. So I mean, yeah, they probably know. I haven't heard that for certain, but it would make sense.
Well, I mean, that's what they've said as much. I mean, they and Martin and them have said as much, is that he's told them how it ends.
Okay.
He hasn't given them like point by point specifics, but he's given them the major points that he's going to hit on.
Right.
So and he knows how it's going to end. It's just,
And the difference is, you would, like, Rowling would take the screenwriter aside and go, no, you don't want to do that to them. You're going to need them later.
Yeah.
You know, or I think, and wasn't it that she told Alan Rickman the twist about his character, like, early on, so he would know? I think there was stuff like that as well.
Oh.
Well, I think the other thing was she had a lot of it written before it actually...
Oh, well, she had the ending written. I mean, she had the ending actually written. And so yeah, and what was it? David Yates is back on to do Fantastic Beasts 2, right?
Yeah, I think that starts filming at the end of the year, doesn't it?
I think that's right. Where's the... Let me see.
Well, I need to scoot. I have an early morning.
Okay.
I already made my recommendation.
Okay.
Cane chair.
Cane chair.
Cane chair.
There you go.
There you go. Bye.
Bye, Rox. Bye. Okay. So, yeah. Well, no, it's hang on. It's coming out next November.
Yeah.
Okay, so it just started photography.
Okay, so they have just... I thought it was going to start filming at the end of the year for some reason.
Yeah, no, they're going to need the time to do the effects, no doubt. Yeah. And they've cast Jude Law as the young Albus.
Yeah, I did see that.
Good. I anticipate that being good, since I enjoyed the first film quite a lot more than I expected.
They're casting Jude Law as a lot of young things, aren't they?
Young popes,
young Pope, young Dumbledore, young Indiana Jones. No, that's not. They're not really doing that. Although
you're scaring me for a second.
Although Disney, there you go. That's free. Because we all know how well Alfie did. That's from the same pool.
Yeah, I still like what was it? I don't think it was necessarily my idea, but someone was saying for the fourth film, have his basically pass the hat to his daughter. And it was rumored that Natalie Portman was going to be playing his daughter, so which would have been so much better. Then again, my ass is a lot better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And I have a terrible ass. Let's see. What else has happened?
I'm not commenting on your ass.
That's good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what else came out of D23? They had I don't know how they fit everyone on stage for Infinity War because everyone's
fucking
behind it.
Well, the one thing they didn't do, they kept absolutely quashing the rumor that we are absolutely not getting the rights to Fantastic Four back. We are totally not getting the rights to Fantastic Four right back. Fox, call us, please.
No matter what they say.
No matter what they say, Fox, please call us, Fox. You saw what we did with Sony. Give us a call. I think they would have made a stronger case if there hadn't been that big drop off, but
but again, the problem that you have with Fantastic Four is the same thing that you have with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which is, if you do it again, people are, I swear, going to be just like, oh, Jesus, they're doing that again too? So, I mean, you can't win either way you put it. So at this point, it's either give it back.
Well, I think in the case of Fantastic Four, I think it's a different argument to make because aside from the first one, the other two weren't that terribly successful, right? So...
Yeah, I don't know that the first one was that successful. I mean...
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, the only thing people remember from the first Fantastic Four films was Chris Evans. Honestly. That Chris Evans was in it, not that they actually knew that or aware of the performance, just that he's in it. And nobody, like 3 people saw the other one, so...
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the difference between the Fantastic Four films and the Spidey films was that at least the Spidey films were popular and successful. Whereas the Fantastic Four films weren't necessarily.
Yeah, let's see.
Which I think is the argument. I think the first one might have been considered a success. Maybe.
Let's see.
But I don't think Return of the Silver Surfer was. And the last one, 4, definitely wasn't.
Oh, it bombed.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, the 2005 one, had a production budget of $100 million, so you can assume at least $25 million for marketing.
Yeah.
Its domestic gross was $154 with a worldwide of $330. So that's not great.
It's not great, but it's not crashing through the outhouse floor bad.
No, and neither is really Silver Surfer, because it's $130 million production budget. So it made its budget back on domestic because the domestic was 131.
Yeah.
And it got another 157 worldwide. So that's not great for a superhero film, but
Well,
you're right. Spider-Man.
The ceiling on although at that point the ceiling on those were a bit lower.
But Fantastic Four, the reboot from 2015. Production budget of $120 million, domestic 56.
Yeah, no.
Worldwide 167. So they just made their money back. So that's my thing. It's like, to me, it's like Daredevil. It's like, why are we keeping this if we can't make money with it? Knowing that we have to keep making films, otherwise we got to give it back anyway. That makes sense?
No, it does. It's just
granted, the movie studios don't necessarily make sense, but still.
Well, I think what a lot of people were basing the Fantastic Four theory on is that Marvel and Fox have started to, I guess, become cozier in recent times with the fact that they've got like 2 television shows based on the X-Men, which Marvel gave them permission to do. Because they had to work out a deal to get the X-Men shows on, Legion and Gifted, get those on the air. They made the sort of character swaps with Deadpool for the Deadpool appearances to make that work. So that was kind of the beginning of this rumor. And then the bit in Homecoming where they're moving out of the tower.
Yeah.
The big part of the big internet rumor of that was, oh, well, so the Fantastic Four get the tower, and that's going to be the Baxter Building.
Oh, nice. That would be nice.
That'd be nice, but But so that was the big rumor with that, and then there were the four figures at D23 that had the sheets over them, which was the Children of Thanos, which that turned out to be. So that was what was fueling all of this. So, but I don't know. Fox call them.
Yeah, because I remember they basically let Daredevil go because they just gave up on it.
Yeah, they let Daredevil go because, well, their option was about to run out and they didn't have enough time to make anything as part of that too.
Yeah. Well, but again, it's like, why should we do this again? Why don't we just do a Sony deal where we just keep the money, you know?
And again, that could possibly happen down the road especially with Fantastic Four. Although, I mean, when does the mechanism? I know the Fox thing is a bit different with its mechanisms. I know the Sony deal has a different kind of timeline. Yeah. The Fox one has, particularly in the X-Men deal, I know there is a fairly quick turnaround where something has to be at some level of production or there are penalties. So I'm not sure where in a Fantastic Four project they have to be before Marvel goes, time's up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where they are in that. But I know with the X-Men films, they've got to be in pre-production like constantly on an X-Men type film all the time. There is a, and again, I don't know what the mechanism is and what stage of production, but I know it's really, really quick.
So what's the film that's in pre-production now then?
New Mutants, I believe. It's both New Mutants and Deadpool 2. Because Deadpool 2 is filming.
Right.
New Mutants, I believe, is also filming. Because I think they're both out next year.
Yeah, it started filming in Boston, is what I'm seeing on Wikipedia, which is always right.
So New Mutants and Deadpool 2 are already filming, and then I forget what they're calling the next X-Men film, but it's Phoenix based.
Ugh.
So
it's out of Arizona.
Well, considering
Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix, I don't know what they're actually going to call it, but
according to this, right now it's X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Oh, okay. Well,
but I will say that considering that they've undone X-Men 3.
Yeah, they undid X-Men X3, so that's at least hopeful.
Yeah.
And it is Sophie Turner, and she wasn't bad she was one of the very few good things in the last film, so.
Yeah, well, yeah. Apocalypse was just.
Why do you get a good actor and stick him under that much makeup and not do anything with him? That's crazy.
It was just sad all the way around. I will say that it looks like in the New Mutants film, they've got one of my favorite mutant characters, Cecilia Reyes, who is one of my favorite characters simply because she's a medical doctor who basically has a force field around herself, and she fucking hates the idea of being a superhero.
Yeah.
She hates being a mutant. She's one of the few, in other words, she's one of the few people who is in the X-Men who is actually reacting to being a mutant the way normal people would react to being a mutant.
Yeah.
As in, oh God, why am I here? I don't want to be here. Oh fuck, what's happening? Oh, nice. Maisie Williams is supposed to be Wolfsbane.
Yeah.
That's really good casting, actually.
Yeah.
Let's see. They've got Magic as well. Anya Taylor-Joy. No idea who the hell you are.
It's mostly, I think it's mostly the classic character cast, I think.
Well, you don't have Karma, is what I'm seeing.
You don't, but I think that's, I was going to say, she's not in the beginning of the title. She's sort of in the middle, isn't she?
No, she's one of the originals.
Oh, was she?
Originals.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 5 originals. of which she's one, but it looks like the other 4 are there. Yeah. They're just replacing her with magic. And because they've already set her up as what you call it? Oh yeah, Colossus's
sister, yeah.
Sister, yeah. So where is it? I lost my. There it is. Is this it? The film, yes. So there's that.
And then there's X-Force is already being written, which is supposed to be jumping off of Deadpool 2. No idea if that's the cable version or the X-Men sort of Black Ops team version.
Huh. Charlie Heaton, the strange photographer from Stranger Things, is Cannonball. That's interesting. Let's see. I have no idea who Henry Zaga is, who's playing Sunspot, nor do I know who Mirage is. But you've got Maisie Williams in it, so it's going to be good.
Oh, Mirage.
Oh. What?
I'm trying to remember. The name is very familiar to me.
The actress's name is Blue Hunt. She's apparently in the originals. Let's see. Come on, IMDb. Come on, let's do it. Yeah, that's about it. That's about all she's been in. So,
but yeah, there's X-Men Dark Phoenix, the 2 movies that are in production now, and like I said, I think X-Force, but I'm not sure which version of X-Force that is.
Right. As long as it's got Strong Guy in it, I'm in.
Because, well, that's X Factor.
Oh, that's right. Wait.
That's X Factor.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Although, wait a minute.
And he might have been in the Black Ops X-Force version. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention at that point.
I
know at one point X-Force was basically the book we just threw everyone in. Because I know at one point it was, what was it? Deadpool, Phantom X, Psylocke. Apparently Storm was an X-Force member at one point. It got very weird. Hickman was writing it, so there was some long plot, long game Hickman thing that was going on. I don't even know.
No, you're right. He was only in X Factor.
Yeah.
But speaking of Hickman, after they released the Black Order folks for Thanos, and Madman was losing his mind about it, I went back and read Infinity where they appeared, and on the 3rd reading, I could actually follow it. I actually knew what was happening.
Was that okay? So
it only took you 3 readings, though.
It only took you 3 readings. I mean, he's really good. Here's the thing with Hickman's stuff, he's really good, and it goes back to, I think, Claremont without the Australian side thing, because he really has a long game, and you don't even know what it is. Bendis telegraph stuff, but But the thing with Hickman is Hickman will keep you in the dark until the very last minute, but then you have to go back and look at it and go, okay, yeah, that made sense. But you really have to follow out what he's doing. And I think at one point when he was writing all the Avengers stuff, that's following it through like 4 different books, you know? Where he happened to have been writing the book at the time. So you have to follow that same plot, which is a little different, but.
Yeah, it was a little, there was a lot going on in that book.
Yeah. Because I think the actual plot that Infinity ends up with ran through, Uncanny Avengers when he was writing it, New Avengers when he was writing it.
And there was still stuff in the middle of Infinity setting up for Secret Wars.
Yeah. And there's stuff in Secret Wars that was setting up like the multiverse stuff later on. There's like plants within plants within plants. It's very, very odd.
Yeah, it is that. But hey, I could follow it, so
yeah,
it wasn't great. It wasn't great.
Actually, he did some stuff with Kang and Uncanny Avengers that I really, really liked.
I think part of the problem is that Infinity was basically the if I had probably read all of the other tie-in books, it might have made sense. But I'm a firm believer in if you've got a series, I should be able to read that series and the other books add to it, but not, I shouldn't feel like, oh, this is just the Reader's Digest of everything else that's happening elsewhere. You know?
Yeah.
Call me crazy. But
that would be redundant.
Oh,
well, you can't put them all in a jumpsuit, Wedge.
Put them all in a jump. Oh, gotcha. All right.
You thought about it and you went, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. When does that start up again, by the way?
What, Secret Wars?
No, I thought you were referring to Legion.
Well, there may not be another season of Fargo because of that, but which, depending on how you view Fargo season 3, might be a good thing. But that's going into production. I think they're shooting it soon. He's still writing it, although it's supposed to be going into production pretty soon. So I don't know if that means Legion's ultimately going to get delayed, but I know it's supposed to air spring 2018.
Okay.
But I have a feeling that might be delayed if Noah hasn't started writing it yet. Which is I guess the FX curse.
You know, that's one of those where I'm like, dude, take whatever time you need.
Yeah.
Do it right.
And I know it's supposed to be 10 episodes instead of 8.
Yeah.
Although theoretically this season was 6 because they showed the first 2 off the bat. But it's supposed to be 10 this time.
And what do you guys think about The Gifted? I mean, they've only had the trailer, but what do you think?
I think it looks promising, personally.
It looks promising. I mean, I like Amy Acker, so I'm probably there anyway. So,
yeah, but do you like her?
Well, I am married, you know.
So yes, the answer is yes. Then.
I'm happy that show rescued her from whatever the hell she was doing on MacGyver because I can't stand that show. But
I'm surprised you even watched that show.
What,
I watched the first episode and I was like, oh, okay.
No, I didn't watch MacGyver. I only started watching MacGyver when she was going to be on it. And then I realized, oh, shit, there has to be some sort of person of interest thing she's attached to still. And that's why she has to be in this. But because that shit's horrible. Yeah, I'm interested. That looks really interesting.
I like the concept of it just because the idea of taking all the stuff that's happening and taking it to a street level of one family and what happens.
Yeah, it's kind of a sideways thing that I kind of like about it, where it's dealing in the mythology, but not like directly. Kind of the radius of it seems interesting. And I really like street level sci-fi anyway. Which is one of the things I always when Torchwood did that, the thing they did well was kind of like that street level kind of thing. Yes, I heard you snickering in the background. But the thing I really liked about that show and the potential in that show is to do all these street level kind of applications of the larger narrative of like all the invasions from Doctor Who. Well, what does that all leave behind? That sort of thing. But I like the idea of this, and that kind of plays into this too. So I like the idea of it. So it could be good, or it could be, you know, unmentioned X character of the week does something off screen. Nice. Which we had, because I remember Fox tried this before with the Generation X movie, which let's all forget the Generation X movie now.
Hell, for the most part, let's forget Generation X.
Yeah. Well, the art in it wasn't that bad.
No, the art was good, but really the best thing about Generation X
he was coming off Sandman when he did that title, so it was sort of that's the only reason I bought that, to be honest. But
the best part of Generation X was actually the Age of Apocalypse version. Honestly, in all honesty. Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, have you guys watched the Castlevania series on Netflix?
No,
not yet, but I've heard wonderful things about it, and it's getting a second season, so there is a god.
And you know who's written it?
Yeah, Warren Ellis.
Yeah, it's his name is like Castlevania, written by Warren Ellis. I'm like, oh, you go, dude.
And here's the thing: if you're a franchise, by the way, anybody who owns IP, if you go to Warren Ellis and say, here is our IP. Do whatever you want with it. Don't be surprised.
Please say that.
Don't be surprised if goat fucking happens.
Or is at least mentioned.
Don't be surprised if that happens. But you know, it's Konami, and Konami's hired Kojima to do many things, so it's really, they're fine with this. Content-wise, Kojima's done worse.
Well, and also, anyone who's going, oh god, another series, it's 4 episodes. That's it.
4 episodes, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a quick watch.
And God, how long did Warren had actually mentioned in an interview how long ago he'd actually written it, because they actually Konami actually came to him for this. God, like,
well, originally it was going to be like a direct-to-video.
Yeah.
And so he had written an 80-minute screenplay.
Yeah, because it was going to be an OAV. It was going to be an OVA, yeah.
Yeah, but with the series, he was able to expand it out a bit, and let some beats breathe and stuff, which you can.
I wonder if he's writing the second series. I wonder if he's going to write the second series.
Well, the interview I read said that he had some ideas for the second series, so it sounded like he was going to be writing it.
I really, the other thing I really need to do, I really need to read the Wildstorm book that he was doing.
Which one is that?
It's the one where they basically gave him all the Wildstorm characters and said, here, go do something with them.
Oh, right.
Or DC had basically said, okay, here's all the Wildstorm characters, go do something with them. And there's one he's writing, and then there's there's like 2 other books that are associated with that are coming out.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't read that either. I haven't caught up on a lot of his stuff, like Normal and some of his other prose stuff. I'm behind.
Yeah. But I was really interested in the Wildstorm because I know eventually he's going to do an Authority-ish title, but he's working up to that. That is the rumor. That is the rumor. That is the rumor. Although Midnighter and Apollo have actually gone to DC proper, are actually DC proper characters at the moment. So
aren't they all officially DC proper characters?
Yeah, but the way they're doing the Wildstorm suggests that the characters that have been put back in the Wildstorm camp are actually, I don't know. I have to read the book to be honest, but I know the way that it looked in the description was that it was not in the same universe. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that works out. Which
is fine with me. Because it's fine with me because I don't care. I just like, do whatever you need to do. The only problem is that it would kind of have to exist in its own universe because, as has been demonstrated in issues of JLA, the Authority really wouldn't work in the DCU.
Well, I mean, basically, what was it? The New 52 reboot of Justice League was the Authority, so.
Yeah, I did not read that.
Kind of a more cleaned up. It was as Authority as Justice League was going to get, but that's pretty much what it was. But the rumor is that there's going to be an Authority title out of all of this, but I'm not really sure what that means because, like I said, Midnighter and Apollo had a series, had a DC proper run. So I don't know. I don't know how the separation of characters works. Although, again, we're dealing in the new DC multiverse policy, which is everything happened and everyone's there and wonderful and all that. Although I know there's a new Jenny Sparks, so also interesting. So I have to kind of look at that. So, But supposedly this is all leading. This could be leading to a new Authority title. I don't know if Warren's actually going to do it or not, but it's been threatened.
Well, him or Mark Miller, I'd be completely happy with either one.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. I gotta get on that series though, because I'm kind of curious to see how he's going to do it. Because a lot of it is I think it's mostly the Wildcats characters he's playing with right now.
Okay.
So I know it's some of the Wildcats characters and I forget which others. I know he's pulling random threads, basically. I know it's more characters than actual plots, but I know he's pulling sort of random threads from the various Wildstorm properties. So
the ones, no doubt, he's allowed to play around with.
I think I don't know what they've given him clearance to do, but I know Jenny Sparks is involved somehow. So, which is the one he wanted to do anyway. He wanted to do something else with her anyway. So,
whatever works. If it gives me more authority, then I would be.
Yeah, that was the possibility. So that's why that's where my interest in this lies. So
yeah. That is one of the few things that could get me reading comics again. Is a new Authority done properly. And by that, but when I say done properly, I don't mean whatever that Grant Morrison written atrocity was. That was awful. Don't do that again.
There's a lot of things we'd like Grant Morrison not to do again, right?
Well, for the most part, right, because he's gone insane, and
I blame My Chemical Romance. He directed all those stupid My Chemical Romance videos.
Is that what did it?
I blame My Chemical Romance. Yeah.
Okay, well, they have a lot.
They have a lot to answer for.
Yeah, exactly.
Gerald Way has actually turned into a great kind of psychedelic comics writer, but that band he was in. Damn. Lot to answer for.
Apparently so. We need to have words with him. He can't just go around warping the minds of other comic talent. Maybe that's part of his plan, to try to get the competition gone.
He did run a Doom Patrol, which I'm kind of curious to look at.
He did? Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh.
Because DC gave him like 3 books.
And they probably all lasted like 7 issues or something.
I think one of them's an ongoing and the other 2 were miniseries. I think he did the first run of the new Doom Patrol, and then I think he's passed off to somebody else. But
I'd actually love to see a well done Doom Patrol again.
Yeah.
Again, Grant Morrison made that into such a great concept.
Like I think the sub imprint of like the 3 titles they gave him is like Young Animals or something is what that's called. So
okay.
But I know he's like the creative there on that. So kind of the same deal they did with Warren and the Wildstorm stuff. So
crazy.
And then I had read actually, what was it this morning that, Karen Berger, who used to run Vertigo, is starting up an imprint, which I'm really curious about.
Starting up an imprint? Or at DC?
Yeah.
Oh, that is interesting.
I don't know if it's at DC or not. I know I read that she was starting a new comics line somewhere.
Huh.
Which is fascinating.
Yes, it is.
If she's doing it anywhere, she's doing it. So,
well, not only because of what she brings to the table, but the people she can bring into play.
Yeah.
Because there are people, I'm sure, if she called and said, "Hey, would you like to?" They'd be like, "Oh yeah, for you, Karen, sure." Because everyone who worked for her apparently fucking loves her.
Yeah.
So, that's fascinating.
So I know that's coming. I didn't read the whole thing about that, but I had seen that where she's starting something new.
Yeah, see, they are so desperate to get me to read comics again. They're pulling shit like this. So desperate. And it might work, fuckers. I'm just saying. I know I'm weak. My therapist tells me that all the time. It's not very helpful.
Got a whole run of Wicked you've got to catch up on.
Got a whole run of what?
Wicked and Divine.
Oh yes, Wicked. I'm like, what the
Wicked. You've got a whole run of that to catch up on.
Yes, I do, because the first trade you gave me was quite good. Oi. Oh, we should probably move towards recommendations.
Recommendations.
What were you going to say, John?
I was going to say, plus you also have the new 52 to read, so.
No, I don't.
Yeah, he can skip the new 52.
Yeah, there's no need.
No, you have to.
It's collars. No. Everyone had collars that were popped.
No. Not happening.
All right, so you're going to be starting that when?
No. Damn you.
Right after recommendations, right?
No. Cut it out.
I'm recommending the new 52. Not because
Good for you.
Because I hate everybody.
I hate everyone. Read this.
And John recommends Nihilism.
I don't blame him. All right, so
I don't care if you blame me.
Okay, so I'll go.
Go.
So, for those of you who remember the lovely golden years of the PlayStation, you'll remember the Wipeout franchise, which is the trippy games, basically scored by the Chemical Brothers, which is the theme. But the few of the games have been put together in a new collection that's been remastered for the PS4 called the Wipeout Omega Collection. And this is the PlayStation 2 game, the Wipeout HD game, and the 2 titles for the Vita that this game puts together, and it's really good. I would like to see, hopefully, if this is doing well, I would like to see kind of maybe an alpha collection that has the PlayStation games on it. Wipeout XL, Wipeout 3. That'd be nice. So hopefully if this did well, apparently the Crash game did really well. So hopefully maybe a remaster of those would be in the offing as well. But Wipeout Omega Collection for the PS4, really, really, really fun to play. Really lots of nostalgia for the old PlayStation games, which I've actually gone back and played with a lot since I got this. So I really enjoyed that. Nine Inch Nails is putting out another EP this Friday called Add Violence. So if you were down with not the actual events when it came out over the holidays, you'll dig this. And I think there are two of the tracks have already been put out. Since it's an EP, the other 3 will be out Friday. So, but that's quite loud and enjoyable as well. Public Service Broadcasting has a new album out about the Welsh coal miners this time. So if you dig that, you can check that out. And let's see. What did I have? What else did I have? Oh, that'll be it. I'll say that'll be it for now.
All right, cool. Thanks, Tuffley. John, what have you got?
Oh wow, actually, that's on. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna recommend Shut Eye. It's a series that's on Hulu, and apparently now on Amazon Video. Actually, which I was going to look. Yeah, you can buy it on Amazon Video. It's a story about I'm only 4 episodes in, but basically a con artist who's a psychic, and there's a whole I don't know how to explain it other than it's a very trippy, very I'm not even sure how to explain it. I guess what I'm trying to say. But he's a con artist and he's trying to con. There's gypsies involved and there's mafia and all sorts of fun stuff that you usually like to see in these kind of shows. And it stars. It
kind of feels like what Dirk Gently should have been in the kind of the quirkiness of it.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it's a little more serious than what I would think Dirk Gently would be.
Yeah.
Stars Jeffrey Donovan, who you might remember from. Well, he was on some episodes of Fargo.
Notice, right?
He was in season 2 of Fargo. Yeah.
Yeah, his biggest thing is
Burn Notice.
Burn Notice, but yeah, it's as if Michael Weston. This is what he was doing before he became Michael Weston. Learning the tricks of the trade, if you will, of how to be a confidence man and whatnot. But it's really good. It's really well written, real fantastically acted. In fact, actually, I like him as an actor in this series way more than I liked him in Burn Notice. And, I like Burn Notice because it was, it was cool. But it wasn't
anything that gives Bruce Campbell a paycheck is okay with me.
Right, but it also wasn't the strongest writing in the world, and it wasn't the strongest acting in the world. But it was fun to watch, right? It was
shooty, exploding fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing that I ran to every week to make sure I watched, right away. But as an actor in this series, he's incredibly good. So yeah, Shut Eye, and you can get it on Amazon Video. Apparently, you can rent it directly from there. And I believe if you go to needcoffee.com/Amazon/ I believe this is on video. Do I get any money for it? .com. You can certainly put some money in the server fund.
Yes, that John is absolutely correct. Go to
needcoffee.com. URL right this time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you go to needcoffee.com/Amazon, then you will go to the front page of Amazon, just like you were at the front page of Amazon, and you can then purchase things, which gives us kickbacks, which we are eternally grateful for. For my recommendations, say again, please see Baby Driver, then get the soundtrack.
Bell Bottoms. It's
so good. And
always
I would also recommend Raid and the Raid 2. There is a 2-pack basically of the two of them together for like, I don't know, it was dirt cheap on Amazon on Blu-ray for like $10 or something like that. So I recommend that. They are excellent. And of course, John Wick 2 also, which just hit Blu-ray recently. And as far as other music goes, I will also recommend another release from this year, which is Painting With by Animal Collective, which is quite good. If you want to sample it, then check out the opening track, Flora-Da-Da, which is like the Beach Boys run through the Barosian cut-up method. It's quite good. I really do enjoy it. So, yeah, so there's your recommendations. There are some things to go do and report back.
People.
Yeah, absolutely.
The internet can just chill out.
We gave you things to do. It's not
I
like
think
we
we
haven't.
talk about Roger Waters and how awesome that was.
Oh, fuck, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah, we'll wait for next time to talk. I can commiserate with Rob. It was awesome.
Oh, I'm glad to hear
it was awesome. Quite awesome. There was only a few douchebags in the audience that that booed him when all of his anti-Trump stuff came on.
Again, I don't know how do you not know that's coming? You know?
I don't know. I didn't expect politics in my really political song concert presentation. What is this politics doing here?
You got politics in my rock and roll. You got rock and roll in my politics. Two great tastes that taste great together.
We don't need no education has another meaning? No. Yeah, that was actually pretty awesome too. And they had local kids up on stage.
Oh, nice.
Orange jumpsuit, pumping their fists, and then at the second solo, they ripped off the jumpsuits to reveal that they were standing there in black t-shirts that said "resist." And then "resist" was like throwing up all over the screen. This is the ending of the first act, basically, because you basically did 2 sets. And so, as my buddy Duncan pointed out, he said, "That's basically your warning about what's about to come." Because pretty much he did Time and Welcome to the Machine, although that's also fairly political. Yeah. But it was sort of eased into it a little bit until the second act, when he just basically said, "Here you go." And my buddy Duncan's like, "Well, see, that way you can't go walk away saying you didn't get any show. You got a show. You got 50 minutes."
Before you walk out for being offended for your political beliefs, there's a program.
Yeah, so my buddy Duncan is a I don't want to say African American. He's actually from England, but he is a man of color, and there's a one point where they
have them there too.
Yes, I know. But anyway, he was with me at the concert, and there's a point at which they throw up a Black Lives Matter a couple of images up there, and the 2 guys in front of us, I remember we're in Tampa here. They put out their thumbs down and they go boo.
That's okay, John. They were Radiohead fans. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Duncan was like 2 seconds away from just tapping him on the shoulder and going, "Hello." He's like,
I totally would have let him.
Just standing right behind. He's sitting right behind him. It's like,
it's very important to be aware of your surroundings. That's all I'm saying. In any scenario.
I mean, granted, at a Roger Waters concert, he is a minority, but I mean, I guess technically, whatever. Anyway,
well, with drugs, it doesn't really matter now, does it?
Yeah, but he just he's
the colors all just blend into each other. Just go with it.
But it was a fantastic show. It was pretty amazing. The first half was sort of. It wasn't nearly as awesome as the second half was, but it was a really good experience. My buddy Jerry went with us too, and he's not a huge Pink Floyd fan, or Roger Waters fan, I guess. Although really, not many people are big Roger Waters fan after Pink Floyd. But anyway,
I was going to ask how much of the new album did he actually do?
He did probably 5 songs. They're interspersed in there.
That's at least half the album, yeah.
I'm like, if you can, if anyone who doesn't like Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking, I question their humanity. I think they're Skrulls. I'm just saying.
So anyway, but he walked away from that concert saying it was an amazing experience. So it was very well done, very well orchestrated.
And for me, I'm like being one of the kids who gets to get up there and do that. How fucking badass would that be, right?
Yeah.
Because even if you don't get everything that's going on with the song, being able to get up there and basically protest school. Oh man.
Oh yeah, and and there's I don't know how many the theater, the arena was sold out, so it probably for 30,000. That might be a little much for the Emily in the arena, but but it was a fair, it was a crap ton of people. It was but it was really, really well done, and I'll commiserate with Rob next time we're on. But anyway, there was that.
So Roger Waters' recommendation: get tickets.
Yes, Roger Waters' recommendation. Yes, check it out. Yeah, check out his concert if you can. That's it. But not if you live in Nassau, apparently.
What's wrong with Nassau?
That's a whole nother podcast.
Okay. Welcome to the Nassau podcast.
So
welcome to the venue pit. That's right. We're just gonna bitch about all your favorite non-favorite venues.
Roger Waters is part of the not anti-Semite but anti-Israel movement.
Yeah.
Okay.
This gets into really tricky waters here. Really tricky Roger Waters. The best I can tell, because I'm not that educated in the issue. But from what I've seen of his interviews, what I saw from him on like even Sunday morning,
he's very passionate about his position.
Yes, and it's not that he's anti-Jewish faith or anti-Jew. He's against the way that he at least perceives
the way the state of the way the state of Israel has
treated
the Palestinians.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as a result, in some cases, he is being blacklisted. In the case of Nassau, they recently passed a law saying that if you are part of this movement, and it's BS. I don't want to say it's BSD because it's something completely else.
No. That goes back to R. Kelly. Stop it.
It's B something. I know it's divest is one of them. Boycott, divest, and
it's basically the thing he's sending nasty emails to Radiohead about.
Yes, exactly. And so he's it all depends upon where you come down on Israel and their and that whole quagmire of things. So I take it with a grain of salt. I take him at his word that he is not against the people, but he's against the government of Israel and the way that they're treating people that live there.
That sounds like him.
And
so but in Nassau, if you're part of that movement, they recently passed a law, or I guess it was a little while ago, that no one's allowed to do business with those people. Well, he of course has a concert. Well, not of course, but he has a concert going that was planned to be there, and they're trying to prevent him from being able to play in Nassau because of his belief. Even though he's technically not part, he's not an organization that does that, but because he backs them.
Mm.
In other words, he doesn't disagree with them, or he agrees with them, or whatever it is. So
right,
yeah, and there's recently been sort of a back and forth between him and Tom York about Radiohead and their upcoming shows in Israel.
Right, they were supposed to be part of this group that had agreed not to play in Israel. And they've
they're
doing it.
Well, the background on why Radiohead is playing those shows is part of it is because they did a listening party thing with record stores basically globally for their last album, before their last album came out, and apparently somebody shot up one of the record stores doing the listening party in Israel. And that's part of the reason they're doing the shows there. Which I think the context of why they were doing the shows there was not presented to Roger and his folks, apparently, or that was miscommunicated, and that's part of the issue. And then apparently some people have gotten somewhat nasty about their emails. So,
and so what you're also telling me is that Roger Waters can be bullheaded about his beliefs.
I think
when he says something, he's going to stick to it.
I think you can ask David Gilmour about that. I'm sure he'll tell you lots about that.
Wow.
And David Gilmour's lawyers. I'm sure they can also tell you something about that. Probably David Gilmour's lawyers more because his lawyers talk to their lawyers, that sort of thing. That probably
Next, you're going to tell me he has an opinion on things. I've
heard he has an opinion on things.
I've heard that too.
And an extended opinion about Syd Barrett. I don't really know anything about that, even though it's like on the last all of his Pink Floyd records.
Wow.
Anyway. So there's that.
Thank you for that, John. I now feel like I know more about what's going on.
You feel informed?
More than I probably wanted to, but
yeah, exactly. I was going to say I don't know.
I feel so informed now. Wow, thank you, Weekend Justice, for informing me.
With vagueness that probably isn't even like 20% correct.
Which has never actually been uttered about our show. So please feel free to put that on Reddit. Thank you for informing me, Weekend Justice.
Yeah, I'm thinking more along the lines of Spinal Tap. That's too much. Too much fucking perspective now. Oh, God. All right, well, I think now that we've learned all we can about Roger Waters and skated around politics, we should probably flee. And I think before we do, we should take that moment to look around the chaos that we've caused over the course of the last couple of hours and simply remark to ourselves, what else but bell bottoms?
Always groovy, bell bottoms.
Bell bottoms.
Thank you very much.
I knew what it meant.
Ladies and gentlemen, go see Baby Driver. You got to see it.
Yep, I will.
Excellent.
All right. That's the thing.
Good show.
Thanks.
It's the thing.
Good show.
I feel better already.
You feel informed. That cloud of information has just been passed to you.
Yes. And now I need some Benadryl. Again.
Oh, before it turns colors.
Exactly. All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Good night.